This right here is a 10-year-old Sony camera. This right here is a 7-year-old Sony camera, and both of them have something in common, which I think actually sucks. One of them has a flippable and tiltable screen. The other one has a flippable screen, but both of these screens are way too small and lack of brightness, especially if you're filming outside or you're doing any type of client work, or in some specific scenarios, like for example, even an unboxing. That's where this comes into account. And what you're actually looking at is a camera monitor. If you want to scale your work in any way, be more professional when you're using your camera, and simply get better quality and overall the work you do, well, you will need an external monitor. And you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money. The one we got is the F400 from Neweer, and it's actually between $150 and $120, depending where you live, of course. But what actually makes this monitor different from what's integrated into the camera, and trust me, it's not only the size. And one of the main reasons why I like using an external monitor is because of the color accuracy. If you can tell, the Sony camera monitor is not that accurate. It shows contrast where there really is not that much contrast. And sometimes that takes you to overexpose or underexpose. And when you're using an external monitor, the size obviously helps, but the color accuracy is what takes you to the next level. That way you don't have to do so many corrections. That doesn't mean that the camera monitor is gonna make your footage completely unusable, but it will save you time and it will make you not having to correct so many details when you're in post. This one by the brand Neweer has a couple of details that are pretty practical, and it has a lot of things for the price you're paying. For example, you can use it either with the battery, which it actually comes with one when you buy it, or you can connect it through USB Type-C, or you can also use DC in of 12 volts. So it has different types of inputs in case you don't want to use the battery. You can use it mounted completely all the time on a surface, and that way you can only plug it into the light. So pretty practical as well. There are also two ways you can connect this monitor to a camera. One of them is HDMI, and that HDMI has two outputs. It actually comes with two cables. You can use full-blown HDMI, that means full size on both sides, or you can also use HDMI to mini HDMI or micro HDMI. It comes with 3 cables, as well as using analog component connections. So you can always connect it to most cameras. On the top of the monitor, you also have presets, which are these. You can program and it can do whatever you want. And that way you can determine whether you want one for peaking, one for color, or anything you want to map to it. So that way you don't have to go inside the menu of your camera each time you want to do something different. Another main advantage which filmmakers will actually love is that the monitor has integrated speakers, which means you can actually listen to what you're filming. Because a lot of times these cameras have rinky-dinky speakers and you can't always hear what you're listening to, and you can't also always be carrying headphones all the time. So having integrated speakers is also a plus you will use a lot. Another thing that I actually like from this monitor that comes included is the shadow. That way you don't have to be putting your hand over the screen like you would do with the integrated one, and it covers you from the sunlight and you can see everything you're doing. Now this model is not a solution for every single filmmaker because it's not as pro as a lot of people might need. For example, it lacks a couple of functions. Taking into account it doesn't have a touch screen, you cannot load LUTs onto it, and it doesn't even have any capability of connecting wirelessly like something maybe a Ninja Atmos would do. This is a basic entry solution in case you want to scale your work. So if you're coming from nothing and you have a low budget, this is an excellent option. It's an LCD monitor. The output, which means what you're looking at the screen, is only HD. It's 1080p. It doesn't go all the way up to 4K. But something very important and you need to know, for every time you buy a monitor, the signal that goes into it is compatible with 4K. So if your camera is filming in 4K and you connect it to this monitor, you will see it in the monitor in full HD, but it is a 4K signal going through. I know this might be a little bit confusing, but if you want to connect your camera to a regular computer monitor and that monitor is only 1080, the monitor will tell you it's not compatible with the signal it's receiving. So you need a monitor that is compatible with the signal regardless of what the resolution of the monitor is. So full HD resolution compatible with a 4K signal. Very important in case you film in 4K. Another thing that makes this monitor a great option for entry-level filmmakers or in case you have a low budget, well, it's all the accessories it comes with. It comes with enough accessories so you can adapt it either to a hot shoe, a cage, or even a gimbal. so you most likely won't have to purchase anything. It's compatible with USB-C. It comes with most HDMI variant cables you might see in all mirrorless cameras, so you won't have to purchase anything additional. Compared to other monitors that might be a little bit more pro, not all of them have an included battery, and most of them don't include the cables. Take that into account as well. So now you know. You want to scale your work a little bit higher, be a little bit more pro in what you do, and overall get better quality shots? Well, a monitor is a must eventually. Doesn't mean if you're starting a YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, you necessarily need a monitor. No. But if you've been at this for a while and want to take your work to that next level, I would start there. If you want to purchase this one we actually showed you, I'll put a link down below in the description. But there are other options again that are a little bit more pro. I'll also drop a couple of links there of the ones I actually know but are a little bit more expensive but have different functions compared to this one. But this one I liked a lot by Neweer. It's the very first time I purchased a monitor from them, and really not bad at all. If you're new around here, well, maybe check out this video as well. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like because it helps us out quite a bit.